The New York Giants are struggling again, but Giants fans have seen this movie before, or have they? Welcome into the Sporting News Studios for Hot Reads, your weekly look at the NFL with Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman. I'm Tom Vandervoort. And Troy, we've seen the Giants struggle before. We've seen Eli Manning struggle before. Somehow they find a way to right the ship. Are his struggles and the team's struggles right now, especially after that just, awful performance last week against Atlanta, are they serious, or is he going to pull out of this thing?
I think it's serious in the fact that there's been some inconsistency, a little bit, more than we've seen in recent years. He came into the season playing, well, went through a little bit of a lull there for, 3 weeks, and then looked like he was coming out of it. Had a big game 2 weeks ago, against the Saints. It was a tough game last week against Atlanta, not just for Eli, but for the entire team. And maybe it says more about where Atlanta is relative to what a lot of people thought a week ago. But I just when we get to this time of the year and with Eli, and there's been times when he hasn't played particularly well, but I just expect him to bounce back and that entire team really and play well. This week, even though they, like the Ravens and like a lot of other teams, have a number of injuries. But I fully expect Eli to bounce back and finish this season off strong.
It's interesting if you look at the other side of the ball, and the Baltimore Ravens, a similar situation in that they are struggling lately, and their quarterback Joe Flacco struggling a little bit. And as they try to right the ship, obviously he doesn't have the same resume that Eli Manning has. Is it on him to kind of fix it, or are there changes, do you think, that need to be made to that offense by new offensive coordinator Jim Caldwell?
Joe Flacco has to play better. I mean, there's no question about that. But it looks like some changes have already been made. I think the concerning thing for me, or I guess maybe a better way of phrasing it is saying more telling thing, is the fact that they did release Cam Cameron as offensive coordinator duties, and then they have Jim Caldwell, and to do that with 3 games left to play, it's somewhat surprising for a guy who's been there as long as he had in Cam Cameron, and someone who, even going back to his days with the San Diego Chargers, had coordinated some really successful offenses. So somewhere there was a real disconnect and a lot of things happening that we don't even know about. So to me, then, knowing that, you'd have to say, okay, well, yes, Flacco needs to play better. Other players need to do a better job. But there's a lot going on there for that to happen for a team that, has made the playoffs and clearly has struggled a little bit. But, to make a change when they did is, to me, raises a lot of red flags.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't usually ask you for predictions, but do you have a feel about this game and which way it might go?
I really don't, Tom, and primarily because of the way that the Ravens have been playing. I mean, there was a time where they didn't lose at home, and now they've lost back-to-back games at home. They're clearly a decimated team. The Giants are too, but the Ravens have been hit hard with a number of really good players that are beat up pretty bad. But yet, like I said, for a team that has struggled so much, they are in the playoffs. They have a chance to win the division. And then you get a Giants team that is desperate as well, that now controls their own fate. I usually tend to lean towards the team that is the most desperate. But I think right now, I don't know who that team would be. So I think it's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it. And I'd hate to have to try to pick who's going to win this game.